Hello everyone, this is All 22 and a few film review. Apologies, editing All 22 here, a little bit of an audio bug, but this was the top 10 or top 5 offensive prospects at each position. Let's get right into it. And like I said in the last one, I've watched over 100 guys, but not over 150, not over 200. Got in the process a little late, and I don't want to give you guys bad reporting. Don't want to talk about guys I'm not 100% comfortable with. So some of the slimmer positions will be more of short top fives instead of top tens. Basically, that's just tight ends and quarterbacks. Everything else is going to be pretty filled out here, but let's hop into it. Starting off with the tight ends, the smaller positions. At number 5, I have Harold Fannin out of Bowling Green. Number 4, Mason Taylor out of LSU. Number 3, Elijah Arroyo out of Miami. Number 2, Colston Loveland out of Michigan. And number 1, Tyler Warren out of Penn State. Now, Harold Fannin I have more of a true third on. Mason Taylor is more of a 2 to 3, a little bit lower on him than consensus. Elijah Arroyo, 2 to 3. Colston Loveland is more of towards a true 1, but at 1 to 2. And Tyler Warren is a true first round grade to me. I like these tight ends in this a lot after these top 5. It's not like it thins out super hard, but it definitely, you're not getting these same guys here. I want to talk about Harold Fannin because the league is getting another chance to be right on Isaiah Likely in a slightly less athletic version of Harold Fannin. He's not he's not typical tight end size. He's not a great athlete, and that shows up on tape. He's not a great athlete, but he is the most day one nuanced route runner of the tight ends in this class. He has multiple release packages, which almost no one in this class has. He understands how to create and manipulate space by manipulating hips. He attacks zone well. When he's facing trail and man, he shows multiple breaks. He bends and snaps. He's very nuanced. He knows how to get open. It doesn't matter that he's full size. He's not a great athlete. He knows how to get open, and he's going to be matched up against safeties and linebackers that are a little bit more susceptible to double moves and nuance. He's going to be fine. He's going to have a role in the league. He's not going to be a 3-down tight end. He's not going to be an inline Y, but this guy's going to have a role. He's not probably going to be ultra productive, but Ravens fans will tell you how much Isaiah Likely means to that team and how much they call his number in big moments. Harold Fannin could be maybe not to the level Isaiah Likely is, but in a similar role, being a pretty big role to whoever team he belongs to. I think he can very well do that. Mason Taylor, someone I'm a little bit lower on consensus than. I really like him still. Completely sized tight end, athletic, very good catch radius, very good ball skills. To me, his run blocking gets a little bit too uplifted in my opinion. It's not like he doesn't try in the run game and he's like totally inept, but he comes in very high. His hands are usually very wide and very low. And he's usually not driving people. He's just kind of getting on people and walling them off or getting in the way, and then he has a solid base, so he doesn't really get pushed off. But it's not like he's driving dudes. It's not like he is a dominant force in the run game. He has a lot to work on, in my opinion. And then in the passing game, he said he has a really good catch radius. He's got great ball skills. But it's not like he's a true difference maker after the catch. He's not a true separator. He's got good athleticism and good snap in his routes. So against, linebackers, he can separate at least somewhat, and he's good at finding space against zone. But there's not a ton of nuance in his routes. He doesn't show multiple release moves. He doesn't really show multiple breaks. It's usually just a speed break, or he's, chopping his feet a little bit and getting out, but he's not throwing a big head fake, or there's not a lot of nuance going into it. There's not a lot of hesitation or tempo. It's not like he's bad by any means, and he has the potential to be a really dominant 3-down tight end. I just think there is a lot longer to go with him. you could plug him in day one and he's still going to be fine. He's still going to be a good receiving threat. I just think, he's getting a lot of first round hype, or like end of the first round, beginning of the second round. If you took him in the second round, I don't have a problem with it. I just think he has a little bit farther to go than what people are kind of giving him credit for. Elijah Arroyo, I have him a little bit higher than Mason Taylor, but it's not by much. I think, he's another guy that's not really a full-size tight end, but I actually like his technique a little bit better. He gets low. He tries to get his hands inside, and even though he can get a little latchy at times, he does work to drive. So, like, as much as he also needs work in the run game, I feel like his technique is at least in a little bit better spot, that I could at least trust him, maybe not being a true, Y inline, but I could throw him on some blocking assignments, some stretches, and, not feel totally terrible about it. I also really like him in his route nuance. I don't think he is necessarily the ball winner or has the body control that Mason Taylor has, but he shows multiple releases, he shows tempo and bend, he's got really sharp routes, he's got speed to break away. I don't know if he's as much as a fluid mover as a Mason Taylor, but I think straight line, he's got better breakaway speed. It's not like there's a giant gap between the two. I just think as far as route running goes, because they're probably going to be used both in big slot rules early, I think he's a little bit more ready and nuanced as a route runner day one. I trust him to separate a little bit better, because it's not like either of them are super exceptional catching traffic guys either. Now, Colston Loveland is a guy I really like, a better receiving tight end than Elijah Arroyo. You could even say he's more nuanced than a Harold Fannin. Very good athlete. Long. Even though he isn't the strongest player, he has a really high effort in run blocking. He needs to hone down his technique, but very high effort. He definitely likes to try, and that gives me a lot of faith that he can become a true inline. He just needs to put on a little bit of strength, get his pads down a little bit lower, but he can, start to actually make a difference run blocking. And he's a ball winner. Not exceptional catching traffic, but you still trust him in that sense. Just a really, really good receiving tight end. I could understand if teams and why people would have him over Warren, if you just really kind of want, not saying he's Travis Kelce, but more of that kind of true receiving tight end, someone you're not really worried about blocking as much. I understand it, but Tyler Warren is just the definition of a first-round tight end, in my opinion. I think people don't give him enough credit in his run blocking. Yeah, he's not he's not an alignment, but he's strong. He's got decent technique. He works to drive. He's really high effort, and he makes a difference run blocking. He can be used as a true inline and an extension of his offensive line in the run game. It's not perfect, but he's got all the tools and already the floor to be able to do it. Not to mention, he still is a really great receiving threat. He is nuanced for someone that is a really big body. He can still separate. It's not like he doesn't separate for his size. Can be used in a multitude of ways. Good after the catch. Just really hard to poke a hole in Tyler Warren's game. He is really good. Not an elite athlete, but for 6'6", 260, he's still a really good athlete. Good with the ball in his hands. Just really like him. We get to the quarterbacks. Going to be doing another top 5. Got Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss at 5, Jalen Milroe out of Alabama at 4, Tyler Shook out of Louisville at 3, Shedeur Sanders at 2 out of Colorado, and Cam Ward out of Miami at 1. Really how this is tiered for me is Cam Ward is in a tier of his own, and then it's a small gap. It's not a huge gap. It's still a gap, but it's a small gap, Shedeur, and then a pretty decent gap, Shook, Milroe, and Dart, kind of all with middle to late third round grades. Shedeur I see is kind of a true second, but more of a top of the line second, especially at quarterback. Those guys find their way into the first round, especially in a class like this. And then Cam Ward is right on the fringe for a true first round grade. He still has a true first round grade for me, but it's like right on the edge of a true first round grade. I've said this in previous videos, I watched Cam and Shedeur back in early February, and I thought Cam was QB1 back then. I don't think he gets enough credit for the floor he has. I'm not trying to take away from Shedeur. I still think he's a good quarterback. I wouldn't be mad if anyone took him in the first, especially in a class like this. I still think he can have a good career in this league. His ceiling's limited, and I think he needs a little bit more work day one than people think. I think he needs a good line and to go to a friendly coordinator. At least in the games I watched at Colorado, not only was the majority of the offense screen-based, which you can poke holes with other people as well, but it was a lot of half-field reads, which you can play through and you can show flashes through, and he did. But I feel like a lot of the times on those half-field reads, when he was staring down his first read, if that first read wasn't getting open, that's when you started to see the kind of bailing from pockets too early, scrambling into sacks, kind of more chaotic backfield plays from Shedeur. He's not the best at sensing pressure. He's decent, but it's not exceptional. And when he's really getting hit multiple times throughout the game, you see that clock in his head start to tick, and he does have that internal clock start to tick when that happens. Something that is scary. I think Cam was less in a half-read offense where he was forced to make full field reads more often, where I don't think it's perfect, and he still definitely needs a lot of work, but I think that he's had more experience being forced to make full field reads, and I'd be more comfortable with him doing it. Yes, he does hold on to the ball a lot, but it's not like other quarterbacks in this class don't either. I feel like it gets overblown with him just because people are really trying to poke holes. It is a whole, like, he does hold on to the ball long times, but he does show flashes of getting the ball on time and playing on tempo. I think it is something that he can do. Now, with the kind of bottom three guys of the top five, it's really just, what do you want? If you need someone to play for you right now, or you're in a really tough pinch where you need a quarterback that can potentially start for you, compete, Tyler Shook is the guy. He's the most pro-ready of those three, in my opinion, in terms of playing on time, processing, feeling pressure, and not just bailing pockets. He doesn't have a bad arm, even though it is an elite. You see him shy away from throws a lot. His mechanics get off kilter, and that's when you see balls hang, but he's got enough arm strength to play in the league. He's also got some sneaky athleticism, honestly. He can get on the move. You can do some QB run stuff with him. Jalen Milroe, if you already have a quarterback or have one that's more aging and you can feel comfortable having a quarterback sit on your roster for a couple of years, take Jalen Milroe. He's got all the athleticism. He's got the rocket arm. The decision making and sometimes the processing is very questionable, but he does show flashes of being able to get the ball out on time and see open players in zone. It's not like he's a completely inept quarterback. It's just there's a long way to go. But with those tools, if you already have someone in place, this is someone that you should definitely at least take a chance on. And then Jackson Dart, in my opinion, is, you have a quarterback that you think might retire next year, maybe the year after. You really like tools. Jackson Dart's probably your pick. You're not in a situation where you can afford a lottery pick like a Jalen Milroe, and your guy's kind of on the way out. I think Jackson Dart's your pick. Someone that, if you develop into being able to see the game well, has a lot of upside. He's got a very good arm. He's got plus athleticism. He bails from pockets so consistently and holds on to the ball way too long. It's just very inconsistent in decision making and processing. Safeties really, really hurt how well he sees the outside. There's a lot to work with, but there is a lot of stuff that makes you really think he can be a starting quarterback in the league. I think if he gets to a good quarterback coach, I wouldn't be surprised if Jackson Dart had a very successful quarterback career. Now, we get to the running backs. Now we get to a full top 10. At number 10, we got DJ Giddens. out of Kansas State. At 9, we got RJ Harvey out of UCF. 8, Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. 7, Damian Martinez out of Miami. 6, Quinshon Judkins out of Ohio State. 5, Dylan Sampson, Tennessee. 4, Cam Scatabo, Arizona State. 3, Travion Henderson, Ohio State. 2, Omarion Hampton, UNC. And 1, Ashton Jeanty, Boise State. Very interesting top 10. Everyone's running backs are mixed, but I feel like mine is especially not very consensus. DJ Giddens has some very high upside. He has the potential to have a very, very successful career, but he's very, very scheme dependent. When he went into zone run schemes, it just did not look like the same player. But a guy who shows some decent wiggle in hands in third down. You know, he shows some plus flashes of a receiving back. The vision and gap is really surprisingly good compared to zone. This guy is really creative in the open field. Not consistently going to break the first tackle or always drag people for first downs, but very shifty, very quick, good burst. Sometimes could try to be a little bit too smart, but if you get him into the right scheme, this guy has some real potential. RJ Harvey, a guy who's not as scheme dependent as a DJ Giddens, but I think he does his best work in a gap. Has home run hitting burst and speed. Sometimes can make some concentration drops, but has some pretty good hands. He can catch outside his radius. Has some surprisingly good third down pass blocking. It's not elite, it's not Travion Henderson level. He has enough third down pass protection kind of floored that you can feel safe keeping him in on third downs. He's got 3 down back upside. Just really got to work on making sure he's always holding on to the ball, seeing holes well. He's got surprisingly good balance. I really like RJ Harvey. Caleb Johnson, really hard for me not to put him higher. Everyone really likes this guy, and I do too. I feel really safe about him. As far as some of the guys above him, he's probably the safest person that I feel like I could just put in his own scheme and just get first and second down taken care of. Or maybe I'm not always hitting home runs, but he's going to consistently find a hole, get a positive gain, fall forward, drag someone a yard or two. Just, he's not a plus route runner. The hands aren't exceptional. I really didn't think his third down pass pro was anything super great either. So I really felt like it's not bad, but I really feel like he's more of an early down back right now. And compared to some of the backs I have higher than him, I really felt like his creativity just wasn't the same. He has some decent burst. He's got good contact balance. He'll break tackles. He'll run through tackles. But he's not making a bunch of people miss in the open field. He's not hitting someone and accelerating through it or like bouncing off and really bursting out of that and, you know, breaking away. There is flashes of it, and it's not like it's totally not there. I just felt like I saw more pop from some of these other guys more often. I feel like he's very safe. I can get some really quality, just always positive games from him, but the upside and the flashes of some of these higher guys, I think, just kind of like show me a little bit more in terms of the ceiling they have. Damian Martinez, who I have right above him, I'm a Martinez truther. Solid vision, in my opinion. Third down pass pro isn't great, but decent enough to keep him on third downs. Not an insane route runner, but he does try to separate, and he's got some decent hands. Not Cam Scatabo level contact balance, but man, this guy just punishes people, has really good balance to just bounce off, run through people, churn off people, just slip off people, and for some reason just burst out. Doesn't have exceptional long speed, but he has some surprisingly good burst. Like, he can break away and maybe not get you like the 80-90 yard runs, but he's going to get you the 60, like 65 yard runs. He's got some breakaway burst to the second level. Surprisingly shifty in the backfield. Doesn't always show it in the open field, but in the backfield he's got a decent jump cut. He can make people miss and jump to different holes. I really like Damian Martinez, man. He's really, really fun to watch. I just have a feeling he's going to be a dog at the next level. Quinshon Judkins, really hard for me not to put him higher. he is the type of running back I typically love. I love full-sized backs with speed, and he's got that. He's got very safe vision. I think people say he's got like elite vision. I don't think it's that great. Like it is really good vision. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's elite. Shifty, but doesn't show it. That's part of the reason I'm down on him. But he shows it in the backfield at times. Got good burst. Very punishing runner. Can break through people and drag people. Just doesn't always, just not a lot of creativity at the second level in terms of setting up running lanes to make people miss, setting up angles to make people miss, being really shifty. I just saw him running into people a lot and falling forward. And he's really strong and he can break through people, and that's really cool. But at the next level, it's just a lot of running into people and falling forward. It's not like it's not there for him. He's got all the athleticism and the size and the power and the decisiveness and the start and stop to be able to do it. He's just not showing it. And he's got like probably the safest floor. He's got decent hands, pretty decent pass pro. So it's like you can keep him all 3 downs. I just need to see some more creativity. But man, this guy has the potential to be better than anybody on this list if he can just put it all together, really. Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee, home run hitter, not the best vision, but you put him in a gap scheme, and man, this guy's got creativity at the second level, really surprising contact balance, not a super punishing runner, but he's going to stay up through a decent amount. Like I said, really shifty and creative, a creative route runner. He's got pretty good hands. He's got pretty decent pass pro, so you can keep him in on 3rd down. He doesn't really get talked about a lot in this class, but man, he's just someone with a lot of upside who I think doesn't really talk about having as a pretty decent floor too. It's not a floor like Quinshawn, but like it's still a pretty decent floor. I have a really good feeling about Dylan Sampson. Really got to work on keeping the ball in his hands at the next level, but I like Dylan Sampson a lot out of Tennessee. Cam Scatabo, good ball carrier vision, don't get me wrong, but elite contact balance, man. This guy just does not go down. It's constantly churning. Does everything right in terms of knowing how good his athleticism is. He sets up angles and makes people miss or forces them to take arm tackles where he has elite contact balance and just shrugs people off and accelerates through contact. Even though he doesn't have overwhelming deep speed, he doesn't have breakaway speed, he's got really good feet and some decent burst, so he can burst through the hole and get to the second level pretty quick. He can somewhat win the edge sometimes on a stretch, even though it's not going to be consistent for you. But he's still a really good player, in my opinion, man. I like him a lot. I think he's got a floor that a lot of people just don't really talk about, where, you know, 1st and 2nd down, he's going to be so good. He's not going to hit home runs for you, but he's consistently just going to make wrong plays right, hit the right hole, get positive gains, break tackles, just wear down defenses. Probably going to want him in more of a committee, but he's still got decent hands. Like, you can throw him a screen and feel comfortable about it. He's not an elite athlete, you know, so he's not an elite route runner. He's not an elite, like, he's not going to separate a bunch, but still a really good player, man. I really like Cam Scatabo. Trevion Henderson, man, love his pass blocking tape. I think he's going to go more people are kind of talking about it. He's going to go really high just because of the pass blocking tape and the home run ability. The NFL really, really, really values being able to pass block and being able to hit home runs, because being able to have explosive plays is huge, and being able to keep you on 3 downs and not tell the defense what you're doing. You know, if you got someone can't pass pro, they're probably not going to be in the pass pro. They're probably going out on a release or it's a running down. But if you got someone who can have on the all 3 downs, or is a good pass protector and isn't going to give the play away, it keeps the defense a little bit more on their heels. Sorry if I'm not explaining that perfectly correct. It is 2:36 a.m. right now. I'm trying to get this stuff out to you guys, but Trevion Henderson, not the best vision, but I think it's still playable vision. Punches the line a little bit too fast at times, but he does show flashes of a little bit of patience. I think you can teach him to be a little bit more patient. Very creative at the next level. Home run ability, pass protection, Would love to see him use his hands a little bit better, but he can separate. He is shifty and route running. He can punish you because he is so fast and he's got such a low center of gravity. If you're not ready to square up and tackle him, he can put you in the dirt. He's got some pretty decent balance. I really like Travion Henderson. Mario Hampton out of UNC, just an all-around good back. Not elite in any sense of the direction, but he's got good burst, good speed, even though it's not elite. He's got good contact balance. He sets up good angles. He is not the shiftiest running back, but like I said, sets up good angles, and he's got good one-cuts that he can still make people miss in that aspect. It's not completely out of his game. Punishing physical runner. He's fully sized. Not elite in pass pro, but decent enough to keep you in on third down. He's got good hands. Just really good. I like. He may never be a top 5 back. I think he can be. Don't get me wrong. I think he can be, but I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't. Is all I'm saying. But I would be surprised if he's just not a good running back in the league. I really think he's just going to be a really good running back. Ashton Jeanty, I don't really have to talk about him, man. Like you've all heard it. This guy is just different, and he is different. He's true top 10 grade for me. I think the only way you can get him to a top 5 is if he had elite game-changing speed, and he was like elite in pass pro. He's really good in pass pro, but it's like not elite. It's not Travion Henderson level. It's not elite deep speed, but it's still really good. Absolute, just perfect back in every other thing. He's got great vision, great contact balance. He's shifty. He's powerful. He can make you miss. He's smart. Like he's just Ashton Jeanty. You already know about Ashton Jeanty. Let me move on. To expedite things for the O-line class, we're going to be diving into them as a whole and not separating the tackles from the interiors, especially because almost all the guards in this class play tackle and just profile better as guards, whether it's due to some deficiencies at tackle or just arm length deficiencies. We're just going to do them all together. So let's get into it. Number 10, Ariante. Actually, let's get to the honorable mentions first. Jonas Savayanaya and Wild Milam just barely missing the top 10. They're barely below who I have at number 10. Really nice guard prospects, really different. Jonah, more of a athlete, very nice mover and pass pro, not the best anchor, but really refined hands. Not the greatest in run, but he likes to get after it, gets himself in a good spot. Milam, not the best athlete, but very technical with his hands, pretty decent with his feet, pretty strong, just very solid everywhere. Number 10 is Ariante Ursary, left tackle out of Minnesota. Number 9 is Tyler Booker, the guard out of Georgia. Number 8, Donovan Jackson, the guard out of Ohio State. Number 7, someone I'm a lot higher on the consensus, Tate Ratledge, guard out of Georgia. Number 6, Josh Connerly, left tackle out of Oregon. Number 5, Gray Zabel, guard out of North Dakota State University. Number 4, Kelvin Banks, left tackle out of Texas. Josh Simmons, left tackle. 3, Josh Simmons, left tackle out of Ohio State. Number 2, Will Campbell, left tackle / guard out of LSU. And number 1, Armand Membu, who I have a top 10 grade on at right tackle. Decent O-line class, really thins out after the kind of late 3rd, early 4th range. It's not a bad group at all, but if you're looking for someone that you're more comfortable playing year 1, this is kind of more of the group you're looking at as extending, into the late 3rd, early 4th. For my top 10, everyone here has a 2 to 3 up to the top 10. So these guys, I think, are all probably going to go in round 2. Ariante Ursary, I think, can slip to round 3. I don't think Booker does. Booker is a very interesting player for me. If you told me he's going to a gap scheme right now, I tell you that Booker is late 1st round grade. If you told me he's going to the zone scheme, he might be late 2nd round, early 3rd round for me. And that's just why I have him as a true second round player. Still really good mover. Once he gets your hands on you, he's moving you. Pretty solid feet and pass protection for his deficiencies as an athlete. It's good eyes and pass pro, lands well. He can block multiple people in a snap. Very good anchor. Just people get around him consistently. When he's flowing, people get around him. At the second level, people get around him. He can get slammed at the line. It's just he's got to go to a cap scheme or else there's going to be a lot of lumps and bumps early on. Donovan Jackson, someone who can go out to left tackle for you. I think he plays best at guard. Just very, very fluent pass protector. Probably the best pass protecting guard in the class day one. Just would love to see him give me a little bit more in the run game. That's why I have him down this low. He is a good mover. It's not like he doesn't try in the run game. He's not as nasty as some of the other guys on this list. But he doesn't move people extremely well, and he's not always getting over people despite being a good athlete. So just a little bit of drawback in his run game, but still a very, very good player. Someone I'm very comfortable taking in the second round. If someone took him at the very back end, I wouldn't hate it, but I still think he's more of a second round guy. Tate Ratledge, I understand. I very easily see him not having a career some of the other guys on this list, but I also see him having a very good career. Someone who's not the athlete some of these other guys are, but very strong, very good with his hands. He sees pass protection well. He's got a very good anchor. Not super fluid in his feet, but still solid for an interior. Works his hands well, stays on people decently well. A mover in the run game. Even though he isn't an uber athlete, he gets out of his stance well. He's got very good core strength. He works over people in the zone game. You can still trust him in the zone game. I just really like Tate Ratledge. I think he's just a very good all-around guard, where his strength and some of his technicalities make up for some of his lack of athleticism. Even though he's not a bad athlete at all, he's not like a Donovan Jackson or a Josh Connerly or a Gray Zabel type athlete. Josh Connerly, probably the best pass protecting tackle in the class. Super, super, super fluent pass protector. Just a little bit like Donovan Jackson. I wish he gave me a little bit more in the run. Gets out of his stance really well and can get in front of dudes and wall people off well in zone. But in gap, he's just not moving people super consistently. Not super strong. Sometimes his feet or his hands can get tied up with his feet, but overall, very, very fluent. Matches hands well, or matches people with his feet well. He's got good hand placement, good hand timing. He's got a pretty solid anchor. Just doesn't get beat around the edge a whole lot. Gray Zabel, at an NDSU, but man, this guy is just such a good mover. Got a really good anchor, despite in pass pro, his biggest weakness is his hands usually land late to the outside. People usually get their hands on him first. But despite that, he still drops weight and anchors very well. But that's why I would move him in at guard. I think at the next level, he might really suffer with that from people that are really good speed rushers or convert speed to power very well. A mover in the run game, he's pretty strong, lands well, and turns his feet really well. He's got very fluent feet in pass pro. Doesn't get beat around the edge a ton. Can get a little latchy and leany, and when he leans, he can get a little bit pulled or kind of forced to whiff, but still a really good guard, man. Moves well, strong, fluent in pass protection, likes to really get after it. Just a very, very fun and solid guard prospect. Kelvin Banks, not the athlete that some of these guys are, but just a technician. Not an athlete, not an uber athlete, kind of like Tate Ratledge, but I feel like you can trust him in a zone where he's still going to work around people because he is so technical with his hands and he is strong. Very fluent in pass protection, good eyes. Can get beat around the edge by very good athletes, but still, not a super athlete, but uses his feet well. He can match you around the edge. Really like Kelvin Banks. Josh Simmons, if it wasn't for the patellar tendon tear, would compete for a higher tackle spot here. Super fluent in pass pro, right on Josh Connerly's level of fluent in pass pro, but he also gives more in the run. He moves people in the run, and he is a good athlete, so he can get out in front of people and wall people off. But he can really do anything for you. I really like Josh Simmons. Just Taylor Tennant is really tough at tackle, especially how late in the season it came for him. Will Campbell, someone I'm going to let fail at tackle before I put him out guard. At 6'6", with high pad level and shorter arms, it definitely comes into play. Sometimes he can get beat around the edge by really elite speed rushers or players that can land their hands really well in his chest before he can. When he can't land first, he really has to lean to try to recover, and that's when he gets beat around the edge. But he's so technical, he's so athletic, he's strong, he's got a good core, he's got a pretty solid pace when he's able to drop his weight and, actually land his hands. I trust that he can drop his weight. The fact that he hasn't done it, or not drop his weight, but drop his pad level. The fact he's played so much and hasn't done it yet is a little bit concerning. But this guy is a technician. I think he can do it, and if he can be a really good tackle for you. But if not, he can still slide in the guard, be an insane guard for you. Really like him, but I like Armand Membu even better. Thick, plays with good leverage, uber athlete. He's only 20 years old. For someone that young, already very technically refined. He's not a perfect prospect in any means. He's not like super elite in his feet or his hands or strength, but a first round in every sense of the imagination in all of those. Like, loves to get after it in the run, is strong, is pretty decently technical, can match very well with his feet, is an uber athlete for the position, young, really hard to poke hole in arm on Membu's game. I really like him. He's been my tackle one since I started, going over the tackle class. Stayed that way throughout the process. I'm more than comfortable with the top 10 pick on this guy in the average draft class. Really like him. Now we get to the wide receiver class. Going to try to speed through this a little bit. At 10, I got Jack Besh out of TCU. 9, Kyle Williams out of Washington State. 8, Jalen Knoll, Iowa State. 7, Alec Ayomaner out of Stanford. 6, Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State. 5, Matthew Golden, Texas. 4, Emeka Egbuka, Ohio State. 3, Luther Burden, Minnesota, my gosh. 2:53 a.m. Mizzou. Number 2, Tedero McMillan, Arizona. Number 1, Travis Hunter out of Colorado. Now I want to give honorable mentions to Jalen Royals out of Utah State and Trey Harris out of Ole Miss. Those guys are in a grouping right with Jack Besh, stacked right with each other. I just think Jack Besh gives such a high floor right now. You can plug Jack Besh in his role, and I feel so confident he's going to do good in it. He's fine. He just doesn't have the ceiling that these other two guys have. I don't trust Jack Besh to consistently play on the outside, but I can trust him on the slot to be a very productive guy after the catch, get lost in the zone, make tough catches, just be a true slot for me. But Jalen Royals, Trey Harris have the potential to be outside, to play outside and have a more dominant role on the outside, be a little bit more versatile. I just think they have a little bit farther in their game, or aren't as safe of a floor. All of these guys are good, man. This wide receiver class does not get enough credit. It's not a super high-end blue chip, we're going to have a bunch of top 10 wide receivers type class, and so it kind of gets thrown to the side as a bad class, but you're going to get a lot of starters in this league. Majority of the teams run 11 personnel. You need 3 receivers. A lot of these guys are going to be receiver 2, receiver 3s, and be very productive or very good receiver 2, receiver 3s, with some of it even having the potential to be, the one of in a committee. So really like this group. Like I said, with that grouping of Jack Besh, Jalen Royals, Trey Harris, they're more of late second round, early third round guys for me. Kyle Williams is more of a late second round, but I could see him slipping into the third. Jalen Newell, more of a true second round for me. Elike Maynor, more of a late first, early second, more second than first, but I could see him at the very end if a team really liked what he offered, especially with how good he is as a run blocker. Like, that just boosts his floor up so much for so many teams. Jaden Higgins, Matthew Golden, Emeka Egbuka, Luther Burden, all in a cluster for me. All late first, but more first than second round guys, but I could see any one of these guys falling to the second for any reason. Emeka Egbuka is the one I would see the least likely falling to the second round, but also probably has the lowest ceiling of any of these guys. It was really hard for me to put Higgins at 5 and Golden at 4, or Golden at 5, Higgins at 6. But it's also really hard for me to put Emeka at 4. Like, Emeka is just, like I said with Graham in the defensive video, of all the players of this class that have so many question marks and there's so much range and projection and so many questions, Emeka Egbuka is someone that is going to be good. That is someone who translates well to the league. Is going to have a role where he can be productive. I have him there because I know I can take him with a first and be happy with it and know that he's going to be fine. I can play him in the slot. I could flex him outside if I need to, and he's going to be okay. He's going to be a strong, smooth, crisp separator who might not give me a ton vertically, might not be a true alpha on the outside, but it's just going to find ways to get open and find ways to get downfield after the catch. Going to find ways to just make the tough catches for you. Really like him. Higgins is... I love Higgins. Probably one of my favorite watch of all the guys. It's just hard for me to put him above Burden and Golden with the way they separate. I think Higgins is a separator. He's just... He's like a jack of all trades. It's a jack of all trades, master of none, but like, he's not a jack. He's like a king. Like, if we're putting it in cards and like master is ace and then there's jack, he's like queen to king level. He's just really good everywhere, but not like elite. And I just have a really good feeling he's going to be like a very solid X receiver. Even if he isn't like a true alpha, he can be a very good 1 of A type for you. Luther Burden, I think, just gets undersold for what happened to him this year. Very unfortunate offense. Not great quarterback play. I think he's still a 3-level separator. Great athlete. Great with the ball in his hands. Man, I don't see him getting to the next level and going to the next level and not being productive and not being a good receiver. Like, and don't get me wrong, it's not like I don't think any of these guys would. Like I said, they're all in a cluster for me. Like, Luther Burden is graded at 7.22 and Higgins is at 7.18. Like, all these guys are right next to each other. It is not a whole lot different. I do have Tet as a true first. I think it's a little bit of a gap between Tet and these guys, and then it's another small gap to Hunter. Hunter's overall grade is going to be a lot higher because of what he can do as a corner too. It's just a true generational prospect in terms of the versatility. But McMillan, man, is just, he gets undersold. A true separator, multiple release packages, very nuanced against man and zone, excellent ball control, not super physical throughout his route, but physical at the catch point. Like, this guy is just really good. Yeah, he's not a burner deep, but he could still separate off the line for you vertically, and he could still threaten vertically. Like, this is a true X outside receiver who, if he can put it all together, has the chance to being alpha. I don't like his run blocking tape for his size. Said needs to work a little bit more on the physicality throughout the route, but everything else is there, man. Travis Hunter, the reason I have him a little bit higher over a McMillan is he is a little bit of a better athlete. Even though Tet's ball control and high point and hands are great, I think the body control and just like the spectacular catchability of Hunter is just a little bit better. He's a little bit better of an athlete, so the The routes are a tiny bit sharper, but they're still both very nuanced, just good receivers. I just give Hunter like the slight nudge of an edge. No, I think it's close. If you wanted to argue your wide receiver one was McMillan, wouldn't hate that at all. Still think he's worth a true first round grade. Really like both of those guys. And that is the class overall for all the rankings. I'm going to be dropping the top 75 next, so you guys can see how they not only stack next to each other position-wise, but, once all the positions are laid on top of each other, how do I feel about these guys? Because there's going to be some guys that are in these top 10s that don't make the top 75. So it's going to be very interesting. I hope you guys really appreciated it. Let me know your personal opinions, your thoughts on your top 10s down below. Where I'm high on guys and what you're not seeing, all that. Engage with me. Really hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the top 75. Thank you.